I'm Samael.
And I'm Samantha. Together, we're the two Sams.
We're 42. We work in fitness near Houston, and on our first Colorado 14er, we made what felt like a very intelligent decision.
We sprinted past the experienced hikers.
That was not the intelligent decision.
A few hours later, Mount Princeton had corrected our confidence. We turned around at the first false summit, but before we even made it back to Texas, we were planning another attempt.
And wondering if Colorado should become home.
This is what the mountain taught us, and how we plan to earn summit number 1. Back home, our life moves at Houston speed. Work, traffic, schedules, noise. We know that rhythm, and we've built a good life inside it. Our 2 kids are adults now. That changes the way you look at the years ahead. We are not trying to escape our life, and we are definitely not having a crisis because we turned 42. We just have more room to ask what we want the next part to feel like. Then a company trip took us to Colorado. The mountains felt almost unreal. The space, the quiet, the scale of everything, it was completely different from home. And somewhere in that feeling, a simple idea appeared. Why not hike one?
Not a little scenic walk, either. We went directly to Mount Princeton, a mountain the U.S. Geological Survey lists at 14,197 feet. It was our first mountain hike. Confidence was not going to be a problem. We both work in fitness. We're healthy, active, and used to pushing through discomfort. In Houston, that usually works in our favor. So when the hike began, I treated it like the beginning of a workout. Fresh legs, plenty of energy. Let's go. We started passing people who looked much more experienced than us. They were moving slowly and steadily, while we went right by. I remember thinking, this is a piece of cake.
Looking back, I imagine they knew exactly what we were doing. If there was a joke on that trail, we were probably it.
We had confused being fit with being prepared for that mountain. Those are related, but they are not the same thing. We had brought gym confidence to something that was going to demand patience, pacing, and experience. Basically, we had started a marathon like it was a sprint, and the mountain had plenty of time to let us learn that.
The higher we went, the more different everything felt. The air seemed thin. The fatigue did not behave like normal workout fatigue. What had felt easy at the beginning stopped feeling easy. And then came the false summits. You look up and think, there it is. Just get to that point. Then you reach it and discover that the mountain has apparently added another page.
That will mess with your head. We would push through one tired stretch, encourage each other, and keep moving. Then the view would open up and show us that we still had much more mountain ahead. The experienced hikers we had passed understood something we did not. They were protecting a pace they could sustain. We had spent too much energy proving how strong we felt at the beginning. Now we were paying for it when strength actually mattered.
The day was getting harder, but it was not empty of progress. We pushed past fatigue several times. When one of us started fading, the other one helped. Sometimes that meant encouragement. Sometimes it meant admitting that the original plan no longer matched what was happening. That matters, because our goal was not just to go up, it was to come back down together.
We reached what we understood to be the first false summit. We did not have the route data to claim an exact distance or elevation, but we knew we had gone farther than either of us had ever gone on a mountain. For 2 people on their first mountain hike, that was real progress. It also gave us a very clear view of how much remained.
The air felt harder to work with. Fatigue was stacking up. We were feeling symptoms we believed were related to the altitude, and confidence was no longer useful by itself. We had a decision to make.
We turned around. There was no dramatic rescue and no argument. We looked at what the mountain was asking, looked at what we had left, and reset the goal. At the start, success meant standing on the summit. Now, success meant making the responsible decision and getting down safely.
Of course, it was disappointing. We had come to climb a 14er, and we did not reach the top. But I did not feel broken. I felt corrected. There is a difference. At 42, we know one result does not have to become an identity. We can be confident enough to admit we were inexperienced. We can change the plan without pretending the goal never mattered. The mountain did not tell us we could not do this. It told us that this version of the plan was not good enough. Once we were home, we started researching what had happened and what needed to change. The most surprising fact was also the most useful one. According to the CDC's high-altitude guidance, physical training and fitness do not determine whether someone is likely to develop altitude illness. Being fit can help with the physical work of hiking. It does not give you immunity from elevation.
That explained a lot. We had treated our fitness background like an all-access pass, but our bodies still needed time to adjust to thinner air. The CDC says the first 3 to 5 days after arriving at altitude are especially important for acclimatization. It also notes that spending 2 or 3 nights around 8,000 to 9,000 feet before going higher can offer meaningful protection against acute mountain sickness. That is general guidance, not a personal medical plan, but it gave us a much better question for the next trip. Instead of asking, how hard can we push? We started asking, how well can we prepare?
We also learned not to turn our symptoms into a diagnosis. Headache, dizziness, fatigue, nausea, dehydration, and exhaustion can overlap. The safe lesson for us was simpler. Take symptoms seriously. Stop treating upward progress as the only progress, and be willing to descend. That is not weakness. That is mountain judgment we did not have when we started.
So now we have a better plan. We have scheduled a return. This time we plan to arrive several days earlier and give ourselves time to acclimatize. We will start slower, much slower, and protect a pace we can actually maintain. We may begin with a more approachable 14er instead of treating difficulty like a test of character. Easier does not mean easy. Any mountain over 14,000 feet deserves respect.
Our first measurable goal is one safe summit. Not every Colorado 14er, not revenge on Mount Princeton, one summit. Then we can learn from that attempt, progress to harder hikes, and decide what comes next. That plan feels less flashy than sprinting past everyone at the trailhead. It also has a much better chance of working. Somewhere between turning around and planning the return, the goal became bigger than hiking. Colorado gave us a feeling we had been missing. Houston is home, but it can feel like constant motion. Colorado felt spacious and quiet. It made a simpler life seem possible. With our kids grown, we can at least ask the question honestly. Could we live closer to this?
We are not packing boxes tomorrow. A mountain view does not answer questions about work, money, weather, family, or daily life. But now the idea is real enough to investigate. Maybe the return trip is only about earning our first summit. Maybe it becomes the first of many. Maybe spending more time there tells us Colorado is wonderful to visit, but not where we belong. Or maybe that first unsuccessful hike introduced us to our next home. We do not know yet, and honestly, that is part of what makes it exciting. Did we conquer Mount Princeton? No. Did we underestimate it? Completely. Are we going back? Absolutely.
We started that hike, believing confidence meant charging ahead. We finished it, understanding that confidence can also mean turning around, learning, and returning with a better plan. At 42, we are not trying to prove that age does not matter. We are using what age has given us: perspective, partnership, and the ability to reset without quitting.
Our next victory is one summit. After that, we want to keep progressing through Colorado's 14ers. And while we're up there, we're going to keep asking whether a quieter life in the mountains could fit the two Sams.
We made it halfway and came home hooked. Sometimes the useful answer is not yes or no. Sometimes it is not yet. Come back smarter.
If there is something you want to try after 40, you do not need perfect confidence or a perfect plan.
Take one responsible step. Pay attention to what it teaches you. Then decide what your next horizon looks like. We're the two Sams.
We'll see you on the mountain.